Hey everybody, this is Rebecca Freedom, and this is episode number 14 on Heard Not Seen. The title of this is going to be ... How to Hack Life. Actually, I don't like that title. Let's try again. The title of this is going to be All the Secrets You Know. No, I haven't really come up with the title. So I think the working title of this is going to be what life looks like from the perspective of being clairvoyant. I'll just tell you that much. That's what it's going to be. It's like the clairvoyant perspective on life.
That works for me. And this is John Beethan, the producer.
Yeah. Thanks for jumping in, John. We had a little, as my friend told me, we don't trip and fall. We tumble and roll.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Well, I like to rock and roll.
Yeah. We're going to do some of that today, too.
Great. Well, welcome.
Thank you. So, okay. So, we've been working together for a while and seen the many facets that make up Rebecca Freedom. And I would say the core component that's really presenting itself right now is this thing called clairvoyance. And people have a lot of, I think, misconceptions around what it means to be clairvoyant or psychic or intuitive. All of those, clairsentient, all of those are sort of interchangeable terms.
So what does it mean to you? I mean, what is it? What is it? Which version or genre of clairvoyance are you?
Why do I all of a sudden have an Allman Brothers song going through my head?
I don't know.
It's just random.
I mean, it's like white bread, wheat, or rye.
Right, yeah, exactly. Swirl. So the type of clairvoyance that I feel is most, categorically me is mediumship. So the ability to connect to energies, to identities without bodies. That's what I would say. Yeah, identities without bodies. And I was explaining the clairvoyant process to my client because a lot of time people are like, "Well, are you seeing something you're not telling me? Tell me." Like I would never hold that from you. Like, what? That's a jerk thing to do. Like, I'm clairvoyant. I'm scared.
Oh,
yeah.
Man. So as you can tell, it's always fun with Rebecca.
So okay, the best example, and pretty much everybody's experienced this at some point, is when you're just like vacuuming or cooking or driving, going about your day, and for some reason, some person just pops in your head that you haven't really thought about for a while. You know, it's not like the consistent every day I need to like call my husband and be like, I'm going to be home at this time, so on and so forth. It's like that random like, oh, I wonder how Sally from college is doing. And then all of a sudden she calls you, right?
Yeah.
You get a call from her or like an IM or something, or they pop up on Facebook, or there's those synchronicities that happen a lot of the time, and they can happen with people. And that, or versa versa, right? Someone can call you, and the whole thing of like, I was just thinking of you, voila, and then that's a little level of clairvoyance. It's a little level of tapping in.
Can it happen with animals as well?
Like, can animals call you?
Yes. Yeah, exactly. I'm not talking cows. I was
Hi,
mainly,
Daisy. How's it going?
No, I was thinking of my dog that passed away.
Oh.
And it was just such a rich experience because the day after, I had this dream about her just running. And she loved to run. And then it was just like 2 or 3 days of this dream of her running. And then 4 or 5 days later, it's just like I had this dream and a waking vision that she was just like where she was, and she was panting and happy. Glad to be there. And it was a beach, actually.
Aww.
So anyway.
Well, you illustrate another sort of category of psychicness as like premonition or vision or deja vu, and that happens in the dream sequence, in the dream form, or visitations would be what yours would be qualified as. So if you have an entity, a spirit that passes on, that there can be a visitation in sort of your dream. it gets a little bit like redundant and sort of foggy as far as like the actual categorization of intuition, because it's just peering into the great beyond of everything. And we break it down into digestible pieces. And when I say me, I mean me, the angels, spirit guides, the Wizard of Oz. Off to see the wizard. So clairvoyance in and of itself is a sixth sense. You can hear my speech impediment come out there. When I was a kid, I had to go to get like lessons on how to speak properly because I had a lisp. And of course, my reward, sons of bitches, was scratch and sniff stickers. Scratch and sniff Snickers. What would you like? What kind of sticker would you like? I like that sticker. So I notice in doing these podcasts, like there's still sometimes it still pops out every once in a while. That has nothing to do with clairvoyance, but it does have to do with delivery. So for all of you who are listening and catching that, thanks.
You're welcome.
Okay, so the clairvoyant perspective, let's make it relevant to everybody who's listening, is fun because people often are like, what are you seeing? What are you doing? What do you know? What do you know? What do you know? Tell me about my love life or my career or my purpose or what's happening with my body, yeah, those are the general sort of things people they're just like, tell me about me, but only what I want to hear, not too much. Not the whole, little bit of truth at a time, maybe not the whole truth, just pieces of the truth. Especially if they have a mental disorder, then that gets a little dicey.
As much as they can handle.
As much as they can handle.
And you sort of have a feeling for that when you're working with somebody? Or do they tell you, or you just not hold back?
I don't know, guys. Like, I just want to issue like a blanket apology for my blanket just apology because I really don't. Like, I kind of just see it and say it. And
I like that, actually.
Yeah. Try to frame it in the best way possible, grabbing from metaphors and archetypes and stories.
In my experiences, there's absolutely nothing unkind about it, where you come from.
Mm-hmm. I kind of feel like offending people. After I do it, I'm like, you're welcome. Just thanks. Mm-hmm. And same with me, though. Like if I get, if someone gets under my skin, if I want to get in wizard wars with something, usually there's an opportunity for growth. There's a shadow part there.
Yeah.
Person will go unnamed.
Probably a good idea.
It's an inside joke. So we may or may not put it in the show notes. Okay, so when I look at the world, what I'm aware of is a couple different things. Dead people are hilarious because they don't have a body. So they don't take shit so seriously. Everybody with a body is walking around being like, oh no. Oh, it's doing the thing called the aging. Oh my God. With the aging. No one's going to love me. I have a body. And then we like spend all this time making sure that people like love our bodies. And we're like, it's a vehicle. Duh. And, that whole body image sort of thing. Because it is your vehicle. Mm-hmm. So I will say it's nicer to ride a Maserati than it is my death trap of a Civic. Mm-hmm. But it's all in, doesn't matter what model make you have. I was listening to Bishop Jakes this morning and he was like, you didn't pick it. You didn't just say, all right, I'll be black or I'll be white, I'll be tall, I'll be pretty. And he's like, pretty people be walking around like, I picked this. No, you didn't. And it's going to go away. So the thing about the clairvoyant perspective is it's hilarious. Hilarious. It's actually That's why there's moments I can have so much levity about the things that are the most serious, like and certainly to be compassionate about the traumas that happen to our bodies, that like sexual assaults or violations of any kind, mental, physical, emotional, that happen. But the clairvoyant perspective is we're all in this together. And I've said it over and over again in the podcast. We are literally all in this together. You can't do it. You can't like just live in an island.
Right. So what is this?
I feel like I should have some epic like Schopenhauer playing the 2001 theme song. So this is the word that we have for it is existence, right? Or you can go into string theory with Carl Sagan and kind of understand. We're trying to with quantum physics, we're trying to describe the undescribable. Ultimately, we have symbols for infinity and E equals MC squared and thermodynamics and the scientific realms really, and the spiritual realms and the different vernaculars and the different languages to explain what this is. And it's the great everything and the total nothingness. That's the fun point about being clairvoyant is there's days where you're just all like, we're going to just explore the great everything and then venture into the total nothingness. Like it all matters. It doesn't matter. Totally is so important. Stop giving a shit, and here's the truth about every single sort of piece of advice is it's all time sensitive. Yeah, baby. Feel it. It's all time sensitive. This, and was when you're a spirit and I'm talking to like your dead mother or whoever, like we have those connective ties. We have those ancestral ties. We have the sins of the father passed to the son, right? We have the things that get encoded in our DNA and handed down. And I'm totally witnessing that with both my parents being dead. And yet I'll sit down and I just did some watercoloring and I'm like, hi, Dad. That's obviously your drawing. That's obviously exactly how you drew. What the hell? What in the hell? So, clairvoyance is the invitation to this. And here's the thing. It's next level shit. Right? Like wherever you're at, John, like in your life, and you've done this several times because you've lived pretty epically, you've lived in some beautiful places in North America, and everything sort of folds into the next level where you're like, okay, I've learned this lesson, I've gone here, this has run its course, and now I'm gonna go do the next thing. Is go on to the next. Which my question to you is like, how long have you been here in this whole Encinitas area?
5 to 6 months.
Yeah.
But I was here long before that, long meaning a couple months.
Okay.
And been in Southern California, let's say 3 years.
Yeah.
So it's like, Encinitas was like one of the first places I came to when I flew into John Wayne for some strange reason and drove down to Carlsbad for a meeting for a company I was working with, but met a friend of mine that I'd met over the internet when I was podcasting in Santa Fe, and we met at an Encinitas restaurant.
And so the story unfolds, right?
Right.
And so the unfolding, the unveiling of this happens, and now this is where your body is geographically speaking. Just FYI, energetically speaking, you're all over the place. Just a lot of us are. And so what clairvoyant work does is it dials things in so you can take them to the next level. And I mean this in really practical terms. I will say it again. The clients that I have been working with for 6 months or more are dating the women they want to date, working the jobs they want to work, and not only working the jobs they want to work, but working them in a legendary way, because it's like they get that it's not just about the 9 to 5 grind. It's about the global impact of what they're doing. Another client is working in the upper echelon of sports and just meeting people, but she's able to hold her center and be like, hey, let's not let ego get involved in this. Like, sports figures or celebrities are just people with really interesting jobs, and they poop too.
Yeah.
As the book says, everybody poops.
And their dramas are different.
And the dramas are a little bit different. And then there's this ontological feature of that which Jason Silva, I think, is the person who shared this on YouTube. We'll list him too. That which we build builds us back. So we invented the smartphone, and it has changed our entire behavior, the way that we culturally relate to each other. And that shift in behavior then informs the other things we're creating, and then they build us back. And then we go out and they build us back. So where a clairvoyant working with me specifically, or any like legit clairvoyant comes in, is through the true examination of like, what are your choices building? And how are they building you back? Hold on. Ah! that thing that happens when I tell the truth, like just it lightening up my spine. It's like a spine-gasm. Truth-gasm. And the truth shall set you free.
And if you folks could only see what I'm seeing. That was fun.
So I'll just give some really good examples of the readings that I've done that have just blown me away. That I'm like, what? I've done readings on health issues, specifically different autoimmune diseases or ailments in the body, and have been able to look at the exact organ, how it's, if there's maybe it's like inflammation versus a virus or something else there. Granted, I'm not an MD at all. Grew up in the medical field, have a history of doctors and chiropractors in my family and personal training in my background. So I've studied human anatomy. I minored in it. So I'm not just speaking from left field when it comes to the actual anatomy and physiology of the body. I have background in it, just never certifiable. Not certified.
We knew that.
Yeah. And so I've been able to do readings where I'm like, oh, isn't that interesting? So your gut is doing this whole thing. Let's look up what that actually means. The emotions attached to that particular organ. Oh, interesting. Abandonment is attached to that. That's really psychologically what we've been working on for the past whatever. What if we clear that out? And then use some different modalities like singing bowls or different things to help with the vibrational release of that emotion. Also, different organs light up at different times of the day, like liver is during the night from like 3 to 5 a.m. So if you're waking up at particular times of the night or you're feeling sluggish during the day, that's typically an organ like small intestine, liver, kidneys, whatever else is giving you that cue. Your body's talking to you. It's like the feedback loop, right? The loop is,
and it's absolutely great if we listen.
If we freaking listen.
Yeah.
I do. That's like the only time I've ever edited myself. Freaking, come on. Fucking listen.
There you go. You heard it last on Heard Not Seen.
So,
you might want to get this copy signed.
Obviously.
Can we do that on a podcast?
Can we sign a copy? Well, I will say again, so as far as clairvoyance go, there's an overarching piece too where people want it quick and dirty. They want the quick and dirty answer, like, oh, this will be the magic bullet. And what I tell people is like, it's just more information. It's more direct and truly customized to you and what you're going through. But dude, you still have a body. you still have to like go through it. Like, for instance, another story. I was inspired to write Breakup Rehab way back in the day. And then I was inspired to make some frickin' videos for it. And then I was inspired to write a article for Elephant Journal. And then voila, I get an agent from that article. And we've been working together. And now we're like on the precipice of something big, which I'm not going to say. I'm not going to give away just now, but something big, like celeb status.
I have a question.
Yeah.
For the audience. Did you folks out there catch that she used the word frickin' again? What's going on? Yeah, what's going on here?
I just guess I'm dumbing down.
Is it possible you're cleaning up your act?
No, there's no way. There's no way that's possible.
Oh, okay. All right.
So there's the health aspect of the clairvoyance, and let's say love, right? There's the love aspect where you're like,
I absolutely love love.
Just cue the Beatles right now. Yeah. And so people are always asking, why'd they break up with me? I don't really understand. What's the, like, does that person love me? Like, am I in love? How do I love myself? Love, 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 love. What's the energetics of it? How do I be more open? Dude, clairvoyance will just be like, bam, daddy issues, right? Starting at age 3 at this particular time. What was the trauma there? Let's dial in that trauma. Awesome to know.
Yeah.
You still got to do the work, you know? You can't just be like, yeah, I got daddy issues.
You cannot shove it in a drawer for later.
There's no skipping steps, dude. There's just not. So, speaking of skipping steps, let's go to money, right? Okay. The money kind of part of the clairvoyance. People are like, what's my purpose? How should I do this? How should I narrow and focus this? For all creatives out there, we're the worst because we get the whole shiny object syndrome. You know? Where we're like, I totally am going to create this. It's going to be awesome. We're going to launch it. It's going to be about energy, love. What's that over there? So clairvoyance helps dial in what the message that is, what does life want from you? Right? How does life want your body to show up in what places to do what work, whether that's physical labor or offering your voice or being an advocate or being a worker bee or whatever. What does life want from you? Clairvoyance can really clear that up. You still have to do the work. You still have to wake up and like chop wood, carry water. I'm getting a little redundant with all this. We're all in it together. Chop wood, carry water. There's just some real, true, hard lessons to being in a body, to being a spirit in a body. And
yeah, but chop wood, carry water it's not like, okay, we do this work and then we go chop wood and carry water. Hopefully we're chopping wood, carrying water while we're doing the work. Or we're doing the work while we're chopping wood, carrying water. And by the way, folks, I don't know how many people out there actually chop wood and carry water. Most of the time it's a 9 to 5, but
yeah,
and raising your kids and making bills.
The old Buddhist, like chop wood, carry water, then enlightenment kind of thing. And not to go into the spiritual bypassing, which is very Ken Wilber kind of phrase where you just are just like, I'm just going to take drugs so I can be spiritual.
By the way, you're not going to see the link to Ken Wilber in this episode because we've mentioned it so many times. You're just going to have to go back and listen and watch and read from the other episodes.
Yeah, I like it.
Just saying.
So there's things that I do have on loop that I have on loop as my like toolbox for you, because it's like that. There are laws, like laws of resonance, laws of attraction, law of nature. You know, there are absolute laws to it. The thisness, the everything and the nothing. So life from the perspective of a clairvoyant, and if you made it this far in the podcast, I want to congratulate you.
Where do I pick up my sticker?
10 gold stickers.
Can I swag?
Yeah, swag. Yeah, so the thing that you get from, if you made it this far, is the perspective of clairvoyance is even with the most precise answer for your life, there's still more questions and there's still more work to be done. You're never done. Abraham Hicks says that. You're never done. You're never done. You're not done. It just comes in different forms. It comes in this body, in this lifetime, and you're never done. You just, you kind of keep going. What does matter, and this is the heart of the work that I do, is connection. Is, the connection to your awareness, and your awareness connects you to choice. The love you allow to feel and be attached to somebody else, a pet, a place, a thing, that shape, like that external, a community that shapes you. That connection is important for your evolution, for your growth. And if something dies or goes away, certainly clairvoyance can help bridge that gap, keep that connection alive, right? And help us evolve to be better people. Mm-hmm. Help us in the piece of being better. So I'm just noticing right now how I shoot out like a rocket, and then we get to like the middle of the podcast, and I'm like, all right, everybody, let's cozy up together. It's like the ladies' man. Because again, it's just important. I think what I'm trying to impress, and what I've noticed from all the healers and all the light workers and all the people who are contributing a verse, is that we're trying to shift the message from the Machiavellian sort of mindset, and
you should talk a little bit about that for people that don't really.
So again, as far as the mind, it's just sort of like the sense of like every man for himself mindset, that no one has your back. It doesn't really matter. Just get it when, where, and how you can. The end justifies the means. And we can go into some of the older philosophers like Nietzsche and things like that. I'm not going to, but
thank you.
Yeah,
it will not be in the show notes.
Yeah, it's heavy. It's heavy stuff. The point is that I know that I'm not the only voice, that I'm one of a million voices on a million different podcasts saying some of the same stuff. Mm-hmm. What I do know is there's only one me and there's only one you, and that life wants a very particular thing from you. And if you want to know what that is, like, that is why I'm here, is to provide, to use this clairvoyant gift to really get people in alignment, lined up and ready to receive and ready to take action without fear, right? Without fear. Don't hesitate to be able to move forward in a powerful way, to say like, okay, I don't have to have the home on the hill. I can live in the slums and still matter. Like, everywhere you're at, you do matter. It's not an accident. You can take action where you are. Obviously the saying is, the grass is greenest where you water it.
Yeah. You can talk to anybody that's traveled extensively to other countries, mm-hmm. Tibet or wherever, and see that what you just said is absolutely true. Mm-hmm. That these people are phenomenally happy. I just talked to somebody that just came back from Peru, and it's just like, oh my God, eyes wide open. Mm-hmm. These people have nothing, mm-hmm. and yet at the same time they have absolutely everything we don't have.
Just the judgments are just different. Right. Like, I think that I would say categorically Western culture is all about judgment. It's like how we set up our hierarchy, our system, mm-hmm. And globally in different mm-hmm. cultures as well. So today, I think that I hope you had fun lily padding with me on this sort of podcast, Yeah.
You're asking me?
You and...
This was, very nice.
You and everybody else who's listening, that we do jump around, jump up, and nick down. Yeah. During these podcasts. And isn't that the sort of make and model of life? Start your morning one way. You got all your, gremlins and demons that come up during the day, the battle you weren't expecting happens. You adapt, you throw up walls, you jump around, you go all over the place. And again, the thing I want to impart is there is a tool that is out there for you. It's called clairvoyance. You may have it in you. I can certainly help show you if it's there, how to extract it and cultivate it and grow it.
Integrate
it. Yeah. And that's some of the work that can be done. And ultimately, though, if you just want like the quick and dirty, like, what do I do about this? What's the perspective? What's the energy of this? And how do I own my choices in a way that is going to provide new awareness that's going to enter me into the feedback loop that feels really good? We can do that. We can do that too. And there's a way, John.
There is.
There's a way.
At the end of every podcast, we usually search for what's the way.com.
What's the way? Well, I want to say that we're going to do a little rip a little for Heard Not Seen.
Yeah.
Right? You want to give them the link to that, or it's
if you go to heardnotseen.com, you can actually see this episode and all other 13 by the time you get this. But here's something that's really pretty exciting. Most likely, by the time you get this, it could be a week later, sometime after August 12th, 2016, we'll be on iHeartRadio.
Yes, that's happening. So
it's in process.
It's in process. And if you want to engage in this like deep work of receiving clairvoyance or really tapping into your own clairvoyance, I have, again, there's like 2 avenues. One is I create life semesters for people to like teach them, like I'm their professor, and it's very few have the honor of going through life classes with me. I'm very selective, and it's best you work with me for a while so that I can tailor it to you. So that's one way that people can work with me. The other is to book a session at RebeccaFreedom.com. That's REBEKAH freedom.com. And we can continue the journey. Thank you so much for listening. Love you so much. Be sovereign and be well.